Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, good evening, good evening. And welcome to another episode of Tell Me About It. This is TMAI and I am your host, ACK. I find it really weird today. I don't know what is wrong with me. My lens seems blurry. I didn't clean it, obviously. One. Anyway, if you're joining us for the first time, this is a place where we talk about basically everything and nothing, everything you're curious about, nothing you're curious about. We do the justice to all those kind of topics, and you know, for today we are going to be talking about addiction. We all have something that we are addicted to, something that we find entertaining, something that we find interesting that we spend most of our time on. But the question for today is screen addictive? So by screen, I mean the laptops, the computer, I was about to say the mouse, the laptop, the computer, the phones, the whatever it is that has a screen. Are they addictive? If you're joining us for the first time, this is PenyGh and welcome. I am ACK once again. If you're listening to us offline, it means that you are using one of our platforms, which is either radio.penygh.com, which is our website, or our Facebook PenyGh, or our YouTube PenyGh, or wherever it is that you find us, Discord, wherever it is that you're finding us, you can make sure to check it out here. So yes, before we get into the meat of today, let's first try and define or get to the bottom of the word addiction itself. Addiction is a psychological and physical inability to stop consuming a chemical, drug, activity, or substance, even though it is causing psychological and physical harm. That is from medical news today. That is their definition of addiction. So basically, something that you cannot stop. It doesn't necessarily have to be a drug. Some of us are addicted to paracetamol. There's some. There's someone that I know who is like malaria phobia. Every little thing, the headache, it's paracetamol. It's paracetamol. That is drug abuse. That is addiction. Anyway, the term addiction does not only refer to dependence on substance such as heroin or cocaine. A person who cannot stop taking a particular drug or chemical has a substance dependence. There you have it. Some addiction also involves an inability to stop parking or partaking in activities such as gambling, eating, or working. In these circumstances, a person has a behavioral addiction. So, like I said, you don't necessarily get addicted to drugs, you get addicted to other things. Can you hear me? I feel like I'm shouting. Let me just calm down. I'm super. Yo, every year, addiction to alcohol, tobacco, illicit drugs, and prescription opioids. I think I heard that one in a movie. Cost the U.S. economy upwards of $740 billion in treatment costs. That is making them money. So why are they bothered about the addiction anyway? So there's a difference between addiction and misuse. I can be addicted to something and then I can misuse something. It's not the same. Apparently, there is a difference between addiction and misuse. Misuse. So drug addiction and drug misuse are different. Misuse refers to the incorrect, excessive, or non-therapeutic use of body and mind altering substances. So you see, misuse is like the incorrect. Maybe you have to use this at this particular time, but you use it at that particular time. That is misuse. Anyway, we have an example here. It says, for example, a person who drinks alcohol heavily on a night out may experience both the euphoric and harmful effect of the substance. Basically, there you have it. Addiction. So addiction is basically something that you are addicted to. I'm repeating the word, something you're addicted to. In normal terms, it's basically something that you are just addicted to. Anyway, something that you can't you think you cannot live without. Addiction is something you think you cannot live without, but you can actually, in essence, live without that particular thing. You get what I mean? So what are some of the symptoms or signs that shows that you're addicted to something? Uncontrollably seeking that particular thing, okay? And then neglecting or losing interest in activities that do not involve the harmful substance, okay? Relationship difficulties, which often involves lashing out at people who identify the dependency. Well, I don't know. It can be, sometimes but some people can get overboard when they do not have the interest in what you have an interest in. They get overboard and tell you that you are addicted to that particular thing because they do not have an interest in that particular thing. Peace out. Well, that is me being defensive. Anyway. So hiding substance or behaviors and otherwise exercising secretly. For example, by refusing to explain injuries that occurred while under the influence. Well, that in itself is also, I can refuse. I think maybe I'm taking this to the extreme, but if I refuse to explain something, it may not be that I'm addicted to that particular thing. It may be that, it may be, what am I saying? It may be that I do not trust the person that I'm explaining it to, or I feel the person I'm talking about isn't going to trust me at the moment. So does that mean that I'm addicted to that particular thing? I mean, I feel like I can talk to this person, but then the person is going to debunk whatever I'm going to say anyway. Am I addicted to it? Mola. That is interesting. An interesting way to say it. So, let's go to the meat of today. Is screen addiction like something that exists? Are you addicted to the screen? Well, I think I am and I'm not. Well, with me, everything, I think I'm both ways. So anyway, I even think I'm an introvert and I'm an extrovert. I even think I have traits of almost everything, some so, you know? So this article we are going to use is from Very Well Mind. If you followed us for a while, you know that we use Very Well Mind a lot. Because it is a site, this is free advertisement. It is a site that talks about basically almost like psychological style. Should I call them natural things that you need to know, or one or two things that you need to do, backing up with references and all that? That is what Adex Jail says to be. But then for now, Adex Jail, free advertisement, does a lot of movie reviews. So typical of me. You can check out Adex Jail. Okay, so the symptoms and risks of television addiction. So is television or screen addiction real? Is it really real? So this is a complicated, hotly debated question officially. If you go by the disorder list in the latest Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorder, 5th edition, Tresse, the Bible of recognized mental health conditions, the answer is no. Poof. Then that's the end. Because according to the statistics, whatever it is for the mental health, it says that addiction to the screen is no addiction. It hasn't been recognized. So it means it's not something that has like a cure or a medicine or something, so it isn't real. Or is it real? Kungume, I'm curious. So, however, countless researchers, I thought you said it wasn't real. Countless researchers view screen time overuse as a looming crisis. So, while scientists and psychologists wrestle over exactly what qualifies as an addiction or disorder, the fallout of TV and screen overuse that is a word again, overuse, is plain for most of us, experts, doctors, parents, and teachers included, to see. So even though TV addiction has not yet made a list, there is still plenty of reasons to work towards a healthier relationship with your screens. Okay, we get it. Apa. Tikuina. Tikuisa. So you're hearing it. Screen or TV addiction isn't something that really exists in the mental health data. The idea of television addiction is nothing new and predates the explosion in media and screen of recent years. So worry over too much TV has been conceptualized and discussed since the 1970s. Tell me about it. Well, before some of the behavior addictions that have since overtaken it in terms of scientific research and widespread acceptance, such as internet addiction, tell me about it. Although early research into TV addiction was limited, the concept of TV addiction was relatively well accepted by parents. Of course, they would accept it. Educators, they would accept it. Journalists, as television watching became more common, particularly among children, we watch TV to kill off time. So, screen overload, doctors, teachers, counselors, parents, and every child are growingly concerned as the quantity of content, type of available media, and time spent on screen are so. According to data in According to data in Common Sense Media 2019, the Common Sense census, media used by teens and teens, the average time spent 7 hours 22 minutes on screen daily, not including for school or homework. Of course, I think my average screen time when I'm not at work or when I'm not writing, even with exams, sometimes I use my phone as a data. So basically, okay, so let me just say when I'm home and I have nothing to do or just home, basically, my screen time is usually 9 hours, 10 hours, or whatever it is, and I don't find anything wrong with that because it is once in a while. I get to watch movies, I get to do whatever I did. Is that what I told? Voila. Time in front of screen is up significantly from the last survey in 2015. I guess I've got to cut it down. When I cut it down, what would I do? I read books or like wait. So which is even more alarming. Let's get to the article first. So in 2001, the AAP heightened concerns over possible links. This is like everyone is just basically saying that screen time is bad. Clearly, today's children are far surpassing the recommended limit. Why is there a recommended limit? Why is there a recommended limit? Let's listen to them. So when TV and screen time is a problem, as we all know, if you have a smartphone or any electronic device, you also have the potential for 24-hour access to television and other content via streaming. While overuse is all too common, the relative inability to self-regulate viewing time and choose screen time to the exclusion of other activities is a key indicator of a problem. Common Sense Media research found that tweens and teens spend the majority of their screen time binge-watching TV and videos, with YouTube and Netflix topping the most used content providers. Well, I find myself in the tweens and teens. After TV, the most frequently electronic activities among teens and, of course, gaming is like, and social media. Anyway, when TV addiction was first studied in the 1970s, it was described as paralleling 5 of the 7 DSM. What is DSM? You're supposed to cite it before you, whatever. Criteria used for diagnosing substance dependence. People who are addicted to television spend large amounts of their time watching TV. They watch TV longer or more often than they intended. Okay, then I'm not addicted. I intend to watch TV more than. They made repeated unnecessary efforts to cut down their TV watching. I've never thought of making an effort. They withdraw from or give up important social family, that I do, activities in order to watch television, and they reported withdrawal like so. Then this is serious, like symptoms of subjective discomfort when deprived of TV. I'll sleep. Studies conducted with self-identified TV addicts have shown that those who consider themselves addicts to television are more generally unhappy, anxious, and withdrawn than other people who watch television. Of course, these people use television watching to distract themselves from negative moods, worries, and fears. Exactly. If you keep on saying everything is like bad, then what actually is good? You know, I do agree. Everything has its advantage and disadvantages. But if you're always trying to look out for the negativity in things, come, then I don't know. So there are also some what's more likely to be solitary and hostile and to withdraw from or have difficulty maintaining social connections with others. This is a whole lot of research conducted. So television may be addictive along with other forms of media such as video game addiction, internet addiction, cyber sex, and smartphone addiction. Still, it seems like that is coexists with that. Oh wait, still it seems like it coexists with many other addictions that feed off the isolation that is felt by people with numerous other behavioral and substance addiction. So in the end, it's basically saying that television addiction is more like it links or it goes hand in hand with internet addiction and all other screen addiction. So we're making references to the television, but then if like the article said, we watch TV on our phones, on our laptops, on our computers, and now we don't necessarily need a TV set for it to classify as like a TV addiction. TV addiction goes a long way from just a TV set. Watching movies, Netflix, and all that could be an addiction. Well, I don't see myself there yet. Are you there? I don't think I'm there yet. Am I? Do you think I am? Do you think am I? Do you think I am? Anyway, so experts suggest that the most effective method for countering screen overuse. So, from this article, is basically telling us that television or screen is not an addiction, but it's an overuse. That's why we, in the very first article, we try to differentiate between misuse and addiction. So, addiction is when you think you cannot live without it, and then when you can really live without, but you think you cannot live. But on a real, the reason I think I'm not addicted is because I grew up in an environment that didn't have these smartphones. But then I know I use my smartphone more often. But then because I grew up in that environment, I think I can live without my smartphone. It would be boring as like, yeah, but then I think I still can. Can you? So if you or a loved one are struggling with substance use or addiction, okay, there is a number to call. I don't think this is a Ghanaian number, obviously. So a word from Very Well. While we await more concrete data on TV and screen overuse to emerge from ongoing research studies, what is certain is that screening is on the rise. Screen time is on the rise, and there is increased concern over addiction screen behaviors in both children and adults. Many parents worry. Parents over worry. Parents, stop worrying. Stop. You have to worry, but stop over worrying. Oh my God. Parents worry that their children are guinea pigs as the impact of the untested influx of high-tech gadgets, social media, and pervasive screen plays out in real time before research on possible detrimental effects. What they are trying to say is that parents are worried about the effects of the new media, the television, the social media, in fact, everything, technology in itself as a whole. They are worried about its effect on their children. I go, boy, why so many? Luckily, screen don't have to take over and control our lives, of course. While that is certainly a challenge, we have the tools to reduce screen time in our lives. You know what? Speaking of tools to reduce screen time, I once upon a time set like a digital you go to your digital well-being, the settings and everything. And then I was determined to write, where there's this 1000 something rule that you have to write 2 hours a day or something. I was determined to write. Upon my setup and everything, I was like, this particular movie is dropping at this time. So why the hell should I? At the end of the day, I failed. So my digital well-being, I give up on that to set a time and say no, 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 no. I'll just do things away, go the natural flow. I write when I want to write, when I feel like writing. Of course, the rule is good and all that, but Charlie. What did you take home? Television. You know, the whole thing, what did I take home? I just took one thing home. It is not addictive. It is an overuse. So for us, I do not think I'm overusing it, and I don't find it overuse. You know, what it becomes annoying when you are like in a setting or you are in a gathering and you know very well that you are craving for, like, should I call it social interaction, or let's say you're out with your friends, and then instead of your friends paying attention to you or paying attention to each other, you realize that your friends are on their phones, and then you're like, damn, if you're on your phones, it's not like I do not have like a phone myself. I'll just get on my phone. And with me, sometimes it's very bad because I know very well that if I get on my phone and I start watching a movie, I'm going to focus on it. So I prefer having the conversation. So if you're someone like, just make it simple. If you are at a gathering or something, or if you are with people and someone is talking to you, just do not have to use your phone, But sometimes the phone becomes like your shield. If you do not want to, if you do not want to listen, you just hold your phone and you're like, okay, I'm not paying attention to you. I can hear you, but I'm not hearing you. I can listen, but I'm not listening. Whatever you're saying is passing through my ears and it's going on. Anyway, we are coming to an end of today's episode of TMAI. And then we talked about the addiction of screen. We are going away with the fact that the screen is not any addiction. Nika is the screen an addiction? Well. We are going to the second segment of the show. And at the second segment, I answer your questions. So some of the questions we did get today is, when you think of home, what do you think of? Basically, the home, I think of family, family, friends. I feel at home when I'm with my family or I'm with my friends. That is when it's like I think home is a feeling. It's not like the place. Because I can feel at home at my workplace, depending. Let's say I feel at home at my workplace. Yeah, you feel at home at your workplace. Yeah, some people feel at home at their workplace and not their homes. Others, their homes and not their workplace. So when I think of home, I think of a feeling of a place where I feel accepted, where I feel I'm loved, where I feel I'm appreciated. That is home to me. Okay, so the next question is, for your birthday, would you rather go somewhere or get something? I was really contemplating on this on my birthday. Should I go out? Should I go out? I thought going out was going to make it different. And honestly, I didn't go out. My friends got me some presents and all that. Thank you once again. What gifts have you received that you will always treasure? I've received a lot of gifts, but then I received a gift from Reina that I would always treasure. A pair of shoes. I've received a lot of things from her, but I remember the pair of shoes, my birthday cake. I've received a lot of things from my sisters too, like just like I have very close friends, like I have very loved ones. So like, if I name them, I'm not gonna end now. The next question says, have you ever overheard a conversation you weren't supposed to? What was it about? I always overhear conversations I'm not supposed to. If I tell you what it was about, then it's no longer a conversation I overheard. What do you think? Oh my God. So when is a time you got caught with your foot in your mouth? Have you ever been talking about someone and then they woke up? Oh, my dad. I think. Oh my god. I was talking about him and then that man is like, you just don't talk about him. Like you just don't have to talk about him. Immediately you start talking about my dad. Magically he shows up. As I'm talking about him right now, he can magically show up. Yeah, I just don't know. It usually happens, and then there's this saying that uka obia semna ni pakono one thing ni pakono nka. I should say meaning if you mention someone's name or you talk about someone and you do not hear from the person, means the person is dead. It's a proverb, an old saying, a folklore. I don't even know. I think I have to figure out. Of late, I'm trying to get this curious mind. Someone advised me to be curious. So who knows? I may take up that challenge and try being curious. So this brings us to an end of today's episode of TMAI Told Me About It, where I basically talk about basically rubbish, nonsense, everything and nothing at the same time. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening to TMAI. I am your host, ACK. I think I will. What am I doing? I'm just right, man. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. This was PenyGh. So, like I said in the opening, this is a place where you can find us on all our social media handles at PenyGh on Facebook and YouTube. And then you can find us on our website at radio.penygh.com. If you have any advertisements you'd like to place, you can as well. Contact 0543829571. If you're watching from YouTube, the number is right at the. Which one? Is it my left? I see it on my left. It could be on your right. Anyway, thank you very much for tuning in into today's episode. Thank you. Oneleni Adikaji will end here. Annyeong. Adios. Bye.